Whoa, something went wrong. My media is done. For what I did for the lion's mane, I checked some of the broth or the soup, and I also checked the mycelium that was growing on the agar, so the solid medium, and I didn't see any. So I checked it under the microscope, but I didn't see any cells in the soup, which means that even though I got the ingredients and the fungicide and the antifungal agent from a reputable source, it means that those prevented the fungus from growing, the lion's mane from growing, which makes sense because fungicides prevent fungus from growing and antifungal agent prevent fungus from growing. But apparently these two were would not select against the lion's mane that was trying to grow. That wasn't the case. But on the agar, which didn't have any fungicides or antifungal agent, I saw growth. And when I looked under the microscope, I also saw mycelial cells. So what I did is I decided to make up more soup or broth. It's still warm, using the same ingredients that's in the agar minus agar, because the agar is a solidifying agent and I want it liquid. And what I'll do, so maybe next week or in some other time, I'll subculture. So I'll take a piece of that agar that I saw growth on, and then I'll inoculate it in broth. And then once that's done, I let that grow. And I'm pretty sure that they will grow in this because it doesn't have any fungicide or antifungal agent. And then once that's done, what I hope is once I see enough growth or cells in the broth, then I'll inoculate it on the grain. And then we will be in our finally in the next stage of trying to grow lion's mane. A piece of the mycelia from this onto potato dextrose agar, and then put some into this. This is PDB. Doesn't have as much sugar and doesn't have yeast like this one, so the difference in color, but they're both like sugar rich broth. Re-inoculate some new plates with the lion's mane. So I'm going to put it on potato dextrose agar, because based on all the readings I've done, so I did get to read it, and I realized that a lot of people who've, especially in China, because lion's mane is used as a medicinal, like pharmaceutical product, primarily in China, for anxiety, neurological issues like Parkinson, dementia, Alzheimer, etc. So I'm just going to transfer that onto potato dextrose agar and see if it grows better there, and I'll inoculate in potato dextrose broth to see how it grows in that. And then hopefully the next stage will really be on solid cultivation on grain with the wood chip. By now you all are familiar with me spraying down everything that I use with 70% ethanol. It's a standard practice in a microbiology lab. Before I work in my sterile area, so the biosafety cabinet, I'll just spray the broth, the agar plates, my hands with ethanol. That black cloth is to take images. and I rest my hand for a bit before I start working. Next up, I'm just arranging the different agar plates that I'll be inoculating. For example, I have oatmeal agar, potato dextrose agar, yeast malt sucrose agar, getting them out of the sleeves so that I can set them up for the inoculation step, which will be coming up shortly. Up next, you'll see what the lion's mane mycelium, so the growth particles, look like. It's those white things. I use a cork borer to create equal size plugs from the plate. I will sterilize in 95% ethanol using the flame. I'll use a scalpel to help me take it out and an inoculation loop to just lay it flat, the mycelium surface down on the new agar plates that I will be inoculating. So I'll just keep doing that until I'm done inoculating the labeled agar plates based on how many plugs I've created. Once I'm done with that, I'll put it to the side and then repeat the same process in broths. So I'm just adding antibiotic solution, which is tetracycline, and it's that yellow thing in the tube. I pep it up and down to mix. I'll put it into the broth, give it a swirl, then repeat the same process. Take some agar plugs from the original plate and I'll put that into the broth culture to inoculate the broth. So I'll have inoculation on agar as well as inoculation on broth. So once I'm done with all the plates, whatever's remaining on the broth, on the original plate, I'll put it in the broth. Then I remove the blade from the scalpel, put it to the side, use a sterile forceps and drop them into the liquid or the broth. And then that original plate is done. I'll give it a good mix, sterilize my hand, then I'll wrap the plates in paraffin to protect them from contamination. And it's just that stretchy material that goes all the way around the plate. I'm finished working in the BSC, so I'm just taking out the materials that I use. I'll spray everything down again. So, potato dextrose broth amended with tetracycline to kill or prevent any bacterial growth, the date, my initial, and what is inoculated. So lion's mane, and this is a PDB. It's a lighter color than the sucrose, so I'm just gonna put it there. And then these are the 4 plates. So I have the lion's mane on oatmeal agar, on potato dextrose agar, so this but with agar, more PDA. This one was pH at 4. So I changed the incubator to 25 degrees Celsius. The light is off, and based on my reading, I should incubate them for 2 weeks, 14 days, thereabout. Some people incubate them for 30 days, but we will see. I'll take the broth, I'll put it on the shaker. Oh, I think I don't know, it's not allowing me to change it to some. I'm just going to leave it at 25, and hopefully things will grow. Alright, already I'm done. I have to go across there, but I'm done with this. See ya. Whoa, something went wrong. Contamination. Whoa, lots of contamination. Don't know what happened there. Wow. Look at pieces of the lion's mane growing in the PDB. Whoa. Cool, isn't it? To redo this because there was contamination on the plates. So I don't know for sure, right? So I'm going to redo this. These are the growth of the lion's mane. There's that white thing that to me looks like a Christmas tree. Yeah, so the mycelium of the lion's mane, I'm just showing you on the plate. Because the plates have contamination, I'm just going to go through and try and obtain a pure culture via subculturing, where I take a very small piece from the edge that doesn't have any contamination from the old plate and put it on a new clean plate, and hopefully there's no spores from contamination on that new plate. So yeah. Next up, I'm going to re-inoculate broth culture or the soup. I'm just amending it with antibiotic because, again, I'm not sure if there's also contamination in the new pieces that I put on the plate, even though I didn't see any visually. So just to be sure or careful, I'm just going to re-inoculate some broth, and then I can compare this new broth to the old one to see if I see similar things. I'll label the base of the new plates that I'll be re-inoculating or subculturing on. Again, it's a standard common practice where we do a lot of labeling. You label along the periphery or the edge of the plate, and I'll just carefully use a sterile scalpel to cut. I take photographs of everything so I know what I'm looking at and I can compare, flame the mouth of the bottle, and inoculate into the soup. Repeat the same process. Go from the old plate onto a new plate, and then whatever is remaining, I'll put into the broth. I keep repeating that until I'm done. Once I'm done, I'll heat sterilize using again a scalpel that I've put into into ethanol and then into a flame. Those photographs, see, I'm showing you that it looks like a Christmas tree. Some of them are pretty clean visually. There are no symptoms of the contamination on it, but on some of the other plates, you can obviously see cells or cultures that do not look like what I'm looking for. And it just the trade of the game. Sometimes you have contamination, and I'm not surprised. Look at the white mycelia, because this lion's mane was not originally from a pure source. So I'm not surprised that some of them got contaminated. But it's okay. I know what I'm doing. I just subculture and keep growing until I have new culture. Once all of that is done, I just go through again, wrap the plates in paraffin to prevent any contaminants as much as possible from going in. Unless there was contaminants already on the little agar plug that I took, then they will grow. Spray everything down with 70% ethanol, rest for a bit so it equalizes, and then I'll move them out of the BSC to put them away in incubator for storage, put back the plates in the fridge, etc. All these wood chips on the train tracks and passing a milling station. Wow. I'm going to pick some wood chip up, sterilize them, and add them to my grain. Seeing that the lion's mane, usually like out in nature, you'd find them on trees. So I'm hoping this helps. Found these wood chip the other evening when I was walking. I don't know what tree they came from, but I decided to pick them up off the train tracks and sterilize them to use in the solid state cultivation of lion's mane with the grain. Why the wood chip? In nature, lion's mane, they tend to grow out of oak trees. I don't know if this is oak, but it's from a tree, it's wood, so I'm just going to use it to help it to fruit. So yeah, I'm going to sterilize it on a solid cycle. It's already on solid, so that's perfect. It's empty, yay. This is autoclavable, so I'll drop it into a bin. Right there. And closed door. The light comes on. I'm going to hit start. Waiting for the jacket. 91 minutes. The run is done. The autoclave is crying. Let me clear the alarm. And then I'll do open door. So the door is unsealing, and then once that's done, I can take the wood chip out, and then I'll let it cool until I'm ready to use it for a solid state fruiting body cultivation of the lion's mane. Okay, I thought I had it loose enough, but my wood chip is sterile.